Tuesday afternoon, everyone, and here we are. This is Gwenda. If we haven't met before, I am Gwenda Smith, a spirit medicine woman, internationally recognised speaker, spiritual mentor and teacher. Healing is my gig, taking you on a journey of being able to understand how to live a soulful life, a soul-led life, and I work with everyone who is ready to step up and embrace everything that they are in their life. Kat, hello. Cherie Milne, hello. How are you girls? And Kate, Lola, hi. Samantha, love, good to see you here too. Kaya, Takatangi, hello to you. Maggie, hi. How are you? Do you have anything new for me? Oh, you're quick off the mark, Maggie. I haven't even got into that yet. I shall see what Spirit has for everyone this evening. And, of course, being forever and always in the company of the divine angels, which is who I work with and resonate with. Hi, Libby. Helen, you're back. Lovely to have you back. Thank you very much. How have you been feeling? Helen, how have you been feeling since you were on my impromptu chat on my own page this morning? Hi, Marion. How are you? Nicole, good evening. Yes, Libby, thank you. It is lovely. It's always lovely to be in the presence and to live a life, a soul-filled life, a soul-led life with the guidance of the angels. Kat Gray, good evening. Oh, cool. Hello back again, Kat. Thanks for joining me again this evening. Gee whiz, twice in one day. Get sick of seeing me, eh? Kat, what did you find interesting about the article? Hi, Kate. Hi, Helen. You felt much better. I am very pleased about that. Anna Maria, you're new here. Well, welcome to you, my girl. Welcome. We're getting ready to meditate today. Oh, that's so special, Kat. That is awesome. Hi, Tanya Dixon. Helen, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Hello, Tonya. Nice to have you here. All coming in nice and quickly, and I'm very keen to see what Spirit has for you this evening and what we get to share, or what I get to share with you through Spirit. Gillian, new here from Scotland. Welcome from Scotland. Thank you for joining us. It must be the wee hours for you, is it? But thank you for being here. For the people who are new and for everyone who may have popped on before, I am Gwenda, a spirit medicine woman, an internationally recognised spiritual mentor and teacher. I devote my life to guidance through angelic light, through the light of the divine, which for me is God. For me, there is no replacement. Hi, Anne Fergus, nice to see you too. I do also work with various deities, so the likes of Lord Ganesh and Saraswati, all the beautiful Indian deities of those, the Hindu religions I just love. Hi, Sandra Ann. Kat, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Ladies, what I want to share with you. Sharon, good evening. Lovely to have you again tonight. I had an impromptu chat on my spiritual page this morning, and Kat Gray joined me, and one of the things, what I asked was, what is one thing that you would change in your life right now? And Kat was struggling with other people's energy and being bombarded by it. So I asked if she would, we talked about these things, but I also suggested that perhaps she read my article, which I've written in the Rebirth magazine that's just out, and you can get that here on the Spiritual Events Directory. You can either have it online or you can actually order a digital copy, a real copy to hold in your hands. Nikki Taylor, also new from Cape Town, welcome to you very much. And good morning, Shanna. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Maria and Cassidy. So, talking about things this morning and about energy and how energies affect you. If you are finding that you're impacted upon by other people's energy, or what you might feel is the what's called the collective energy, then I would really warmly invite you to have a read of the article that I wrote, and I am going to follow that up with the next edition of Rebirth as well, with a little bit more around looking after your energy. Oh, who's this? Sorry, this is one of you in the audience that is affecting my throat chakra, or someone wanting to have a chat. So the thing is, hello Paula. So the thing is that when you actually take the time to get to know your energy and you understand your own energy field and what is in your energy field, and then the extenuating energy fields, you're then in a position where you can harness your energy and you can call it in and you can utilize it in a way that works for you, instead of you being impacted, affected and infected by other people's energy. You know, the word infected doesn't sound very good, does it? Hello from sunny Queensland to Susan. Hi, Pamela Rose. Natasha Lee. Hello. Thank you very much. That's lovely, Natasha. Lovely to have you here again. And Carly, hi. So, you know, you are the most exquisite and the most expensive piece of real estate you will ever own in your lifetime. Or do you own it? Do you own your real estate? So this morning I was talking about when we have obstacles, when we have lots of blockages, when we have lots of problems, these are an irritation, right? Okay, so now I've got a troll. So I'm going to say to you that if you take up the person, Pappy Yuzzy, who is sending you requests to book with them for a reading, you will not get anything worth your while. You will, however, lose your money. So for those of you who are regular here to Spiritual Events Directory, and very much those of you who are what I call my precious audience, you're my regulars, you know that to go with someone who is trolling on this page is really dangerous. You have no idea who you're talking to. So I urge you to please stay true to those of us who give our time to be here with you and who are real. Yes, Helen, thank you. I spotted them and I'm just addressing it. So I'm just going to see what we can do. Maybe someone from Spiritual Events Directory is on and they just might be able to get rid of them. So Pappy Wuzzy, you have no right to be in here and you have no right to be doing what you're doing. I ask the Divine and the Archangels of the highest light to remove you and take you to where you belong. So anyone that, you know, any of you who are here, it's a shame that we have this nonsense. So if you could please ignore them. I actually don't know how to do that, Helen, while I'm trying to connect and also do this. So if anyone does know how to block them, please go right ahead. They are a troll and they're a nuisance. Hello to Kerry Addison. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Our precious time together, you know, getting wasted by people who are of a lesser light, shall we say. Lawyer from Queensland. Hello, Lola. Sorry, bright light in my eyes. Oh, bright light in my eyes. Yes, thank you, Tonya. That's the way. So this morning when I was talking to the ladies, we were looking at, you know, obstacles and challenges that we have, Sarah, hi, that we have in our life. And we always focus on the pain and the the upset that these, the pain and the upset that these obstacles cause us. But, you know, when you look at a pearl, and I know a couple of you were with me this morning, but if you look at a pearl grows into the most beautiful, beautiful thing from an irritation. If there's no irritation in the oyster, the pearl doesn't grow, right? So if you could consider yourself a pearl, and when you have got an irritation, when you've got something that is, you know, sticking in your life or creating issues for you in your physical self, in your money flow, if you were to look at that and think of it as the irritation in the pearl and turn it around to being something wondrous, you're going to find that your life changes enormously. And then the other thing that I was saying about you being the most exquisite and the most expensive real estate that you will ever own in your life. If you could look at yourself as being that incredible piece of real estate, what would you do with it? If you were looking at yourself in the mirror and you were seeing yourself as the most expensive piece of real estate existing in the world, how would you look after it? What would you do with that real estate? This is you. So you see, when you align yourself to being that exquisite, most amazing piece of real estate in your life that you own, your life will be exceptional. So in my description here today, I have said that you can connect with me on both my website and also my personal page, but I also said that you can live a soul-led and a soulful life. It's yours to live every day. It's yours to embrace every day. But I'm going to ask you, where does your energy go? Where do you spend all your time? Is it in focusing on a pain? Is it in focusing on what you don't feel you've done enough of or that you've got enough of? Where do you spend all your energy? Now, if you were tending the most exquisite piece of real estate in the world, is that how you would tend it? Is that how you would look after it? That you would spend all your time looking for faults with it and then thinking, I can't fix it? Or would you be looking upon that incredible piece of real estate and tending it with so much love and care and nurture? Which one would you be doing? Would you be looking at it whinging, or would you be looking at it with love and kindness and showering it with love through tending to it? You see, oh yes, thank you, Helen. Thank you very much. Oh, you wonderful, wonderful champions. So being able to look upon yourself in that way and treat yourself in the way that you would a most exquisite piece of real estate, most exquisite in the world, you're then going to be aligned to your heart, to your higher self, to your soul. You see, the things that we experience, Haley Marie in your head, the things that we experience in this world are only that. They're an experience. Now, I'm not making light of anything that is terribly sad. I've had my fair share of sadness. I have had a couple of goes at not being in this world through surgery, through different things that have happened. Thank you, Nicole, appreciate that. We do have things in this world that can really knock us down. Energy is focused on the negative of worrying about how other people treat me at work. Paula, when your energy is all put into that, not the happy person I used to be, love your beautiful words. Yes. So when you put all your energy into the worry about, other people and how they treat you at work. There's a bit of a double-edged sword here. My question would be is, what are you doing in an environment that doesn't treat you the loving way that you and the happy person that you once were? You see, we are in these environments for a reason. We're in them for something that we can expand upon in ourselves and that we can come to grow with. But the thing is, we don't understand that at the time, right? So we end up staying in a really poor energy space that eventually can make us very sick. So, hi Angela, and thank you for the love hearts. Back to you. And Pamela, thank you for the stars. So being very aware, and this was something that I was talking to my girls in my Soul Mastery Collective program this morning, being very aware of the way that we work in our life, the way that we spend our time is a wealth of treasure. So you can actually find so much about yourself by looking at what you are doing in your work, what's happening in your workplace. Oh, Helen. Now, when you are in a situation where it is a child, a husband, a spouse, and the choices they are making is bringing dreadful distress to yourself, and you can see the harm that they are doing to themselves, this is really difficult, right? Really difficult. But I have to put a but there. These are the really important times that hi Julia. Not too late, darling, at least you're here. These are the really difficult times that we need to be able to step back. And if you have been with me before, you will know that I talk a lot about faith, belief and trust. You see, if you're not able to connect to your own heart, to your higher self, if you're not able to connect to a higher power, which as I said for me is God, and there is no negotiation on that. I do not talk to the universe. I want to know who I'm talking to. So for me, that is the divine, the almighty divine, it's God. For you, whatever you can connect with, but I really implore you not to just call upon the universe. Have a think about that. So when it is someone that is very, very dear to you, very close to your heart, and you can see they're making choices that are crippling their life and are crippling your heart, these are the times that prayer is the only answer. But you can only pray if you have the faith, trust and belief. Is that true? No, you can pray. Anybody can pray. But will you be able to see the signs of it being answered if you don't have faith, love, trust, belief? Wendy Harvey, you're a hoot. Thank you, darling. I'm very well, as you can see, superbly well. Thank you for the loves, everyone. This is beautiful. And now I'm going to see what we have here. I do believe in faith and trust. I really do. So, what again, Wendy? Another one? Oh, yes, we have another one. We have another troll. They're coming out from all over the place tonight. I guess they're bored. So, whoever is able to, Helen, perhaps you can find them and block them once again, please. That's awesome. You know, I'm a magician in many ways, but several things at once, it's a bit much. Ta-da! Now I'm Pocahontas. So, Anna Maria, if you haven't been on here before, this person is asking you to send them a friend request. Please do not do that. You will be hacked. You will lose everything that's precious to you in everything on online work and stuff. So please be careful. Thank you, Hayley. Awesome. Paula, Paula Nata. Yes, you're responding to that person and you are going to find yourself in really hot water. Paula, you must not respond to these people. They don't belong here. Yeah, thank you, Kerry. I see that. Thank you, Cat Gray. That's fantastic. Yeah, trolls galore. You know what's really interesting, everyone? I don't usually have trolls on my page. So tonight, this is something really different. Um, Natasha's saying, guys, just click on the troll comment and repost as harassment. Um, Fabulous. It's a shame, isn't it? Because they detract from the energy and they cause everyone to be refocused somewhere else. So let me just settle into here and find what the divine has for you and what spirit has for you this evening for each person. Thank you, Maria. You're really wonderful. I thank you, Helen. Awesome. Yeah. No, Paula, the only way that you respond to me is by doing what you're doing just there, where you make a comment, but you don't name them. You don't connect with them. Really dangerous. Oh, Julia, no. Thank you very much. That is very thoughtful of you. No, this in my throat. One, before I came on this afternoon, I had a coffee, and coffee actually creates a problem in my large bowel. So I only have a coffee now and again, and it always comes back up here. Did you know that? When your bowel is trying to eliminate toxins and it's got too many it can't deal with, and also the liver, it will send disturbance up into the throat. So you get that thing going on all the time. And then when I'm doing work like this, I can get what you're calling a frog in my throat, because it is someone in spirit, or it is one of you that has actually got a lot of disturbance in your throat chakra, and it is coming through to me to let me know. You'll find that as I go along, my voice will clear as it all gets settled down. Hi, Trish Miller. Yeah, oh wow, Nicole, that's right. So let me just have a look for you all and see where you're at and what is going on for you in your lives. And I'm going to ask first if there is a collective energy among you that can be addressed. Report. I thought so. Thanks, Natasha. Report, not repost. So, one thing that is prevalent with those of you who have lost loved ones, there is more than one of you here tonight who have recently lost loved ones. I am not making broad statements. I don't work like that, just the same as I don't sugarcoat anything. So for those of you who have recently lost loved ones and are sitting in a place of grief, of sorrow, and feeling like you don't know what is coming next because of the way that the world is, I'm going to say to you that there needs to be more concentration from you on becoming more focused by being grounded. You need to cleanse your energies. You need to ground yourselves. Now, loss and sorrow, grief, they are very hard emotions to manage with. They're very difficult experiences that we have in this life. But once again, if we get lost in that grief, if we become so very overwhelmed, and trust me, I've been there very badly a couple of times, it can be so consuming that you don't realize the depth that you've come into. And one of the best ways for you to be able to recenter is to become, and this might sound like the so cliched comment of the last few years, but to become very grounded, very focused on being present. Being present. Now, is a huge difference between being present in yourself and being present in everything that's going on around you. when you want to be able to shift energy, when you want to be able to bring yourself back to a place of peace and calm and be able to make decisions with ease, that requires you to come back to a place of centeredness and focus in the present on yourself. Now, this is not about being selfish. You see, being able to move past grief is a personal thing. There is no timeline. Because if you're a parent who has lost a child and somebody says to you, oh, well, it was 4 years ago, you should be over it, I think you would probably want to deck them. It's nobody's business how long it takes you. You don't ever really get over it. You just learn to live with it. And these are the beautiful words of my gorgeous man in my life. So you learn to live with it. However, are you learning to live with it in a space of loss, or are you learning to live with it and be able to live with it from a space of love? Funny that they both have L-O, hey? So being able to bring yourself into a centered place of calm and peace means that you've got to be able to go to your heart. You've got to be able to go into your deeper self and being able to focus on where you are at any given moment. And this is what is going to make the difference for you when you are moving through loss and grief. When there is loss and grief that is sudden and you've had no preparedness, when there is loss and grief where you were not able to see your loved one before they left, this creates a tremendous disturbance and can actually create a sense of guilt, because you'll go down the route of what I could have done, what I should have done, what I might have, what I didn't say, what I didn't finish. And this is self-punishment. So once again, coming home to yourself is where you will find the answers and where you will be able to bring the peace to your heart. I have to say to you, everyone, that, look, we all have a use-by date, right? We all get out of here in one way. There's no other way. And not always do our loved ones want us to be with them when they go. And not always did they sign up to leave this world in a way that we might think was peaceful. But I can tell you that no matter how someone leaves, they are always looked after, they are always escorted. But when you stay in a place of what you didn't do, what you didn't do enough of, you didn't go and see them, you didn't make that last phone call, you are putting that on yourself. That is not how your loved one sees it. Your loved one understands. They can see so much more of life than you are able to. So many, many years ago, when I was reading for a young lady, we were interrupted by the arrival, some of you might have heard this, but I was interrupted by the arrival of the image of a man standing on a beautiful green mountain, or a green hill, really beautiful green, and he's standing on the top of it. And then he brought his vision closer for me so that I could see him as if I was looking at him right there in front of me on top of the green hill. And he started telling me what he wanted me to tell this lady. That's beautiful, Julia. So I asked him who he was so that I could tell the lady, and also so I could verify that he was there to speak to the right person. And he told me in no uncertain terms to mind my own business, that it was none of my business who he was, that I was to do my job, a few words missing there, do my job and tell her what I'm asking you to tell her. So I said to the lady, excuse me, but we have a visitor and this is what he's saying. And she lost it laughing and she said, that's my dad. because that's exactly how he spoke and what he was like. And she goes, and tell me that he's out there in nowhere. And he said, I'm not in nowhere, I'm on my hill. And she was just about on the ground in tears of laughter, because she said that's what he said he would always do. He said, there's nowhere to go, I'm just going to sit on a hill and I'll stay there forever. Now, while he was talking, his mum and his brother appeared, and appeared to the side of him, and he looked at me and he said, and don't tell me to go with them, because I'm not going with them, I'm staying right here. So in this dialogue, I was sharing it with his daughter, and truly she was crying in fits of laughter, saying, it's just so Dad, and what he said. And then 2 angels appeared at the other side, and he goes, oh, and don't tell me to go anywhere with them. I'm not going anywhere with them, I'm staying right here. So you can all just leave. He was hello Ray Louise. He was an absolute scream, but he was deadly serious. So for that man, he kept his word. He was always going to sit on a grassy knoll and stay there. And it didn't matter how many times his mum and his brother came to get him, he just refused them. He nothing to do with them. Or when the angels came. And I said to him, do you plan on staying there forever? And he said, I'm going to tell you again to mind your own beep beep business. Hello, lovely Ray Louise. Mind your own beep beep business. And his daughter laughed and said, yeah, he'll stay there forever. So, you know, she wanted to know how her dad was, and that's what she ended up getting. You see, the sorrow we carry is our sorrow. Thank you, Nicole. Yes, it was a very special experience. So I have many of them, but that man has always remained in my thoughts, because he was so explicit and he was so funny. He didn't think it was funny. So, you know, the grief that we carry, the sorrow we feel, we own that. Our loved ones don't want us to be like that. Our loved ones are able to see our pain, and that actually affects them, except that man. You know, they want us to know that they're okay, and that's not a throwaway line either. Because I can tell you that if they're not okay, I will tell you they're not okay. I'll be able to see if they're not okay or not. That's exactly right, Wendy. Sometimes we do not have a choice but to walk away for our own well-being, especially if it's drugs that are involved, or alcohol, or self-abuse. Be like a monk, yeah. Yeah, so it is very true. You can only do for someone as much as they will let you do. And I've learnt this over my years of being a healer, over my years of being an educator in health and wellness. I can only get people to where they are prepared to go. So people come to me with chronic illness, with chronic sickness that has never been cured, for want of a better word. They're no better after years of treatment. But there's many reasons why they're no better. And even with them saying that they want to be well, I can see that that's not the truth of it. Nikki, you're very welcome, love. A bit more of a perspective. Let's see if we can put in more perspective for you. I want you to think, Nikki Taylor and anyone else who is experiencing grief and loss and that dreadful sense of it, I want you to think more about the memories, the love that you have for your loved one. And it's going to really break you. It'll make you really upset. But the fact is, to go into the space of love is better for you and for them. Better for you in not staying in that awful, awful weightedness of grief and loss. Now, as I said, grief does not have a timeline. And it's nobody's business to tell you that that's long enough. You've got to stop now. It's personal, but what does matter is what you are doing with that grief. If you are letting it consume you, then you need to address it, because it will make you so terribly sick. Hi, Angela Phillips. How do you do this evening? Really, Sandy. Um, Celebrate the life lost. Yes, Ray Louise. Yeah, Jen Chalmers, lead a horse to water. Absolutely. Didn't it, Ray Louise? So, another story that comes to mind for you is reading for a lady in a house a long way south of where where I live. And we had the house to ourselves. It was beautifully quiet. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I was channeling for her, and all of a sudden, it was like all the pots and pans were thrown across the kitchen, and we were in her sitting room, and it made both of us jump through the roof. And she was already nervy, having her reading. So this big clutter and crash, you imagine a whole lot of pots and pans just crashing onto tiles. And I said to her, "Are you sure no one else is home?" And she said, "No, it's just us." And at that moment, it's a very heavy burden, Wendy, and it is a troublesome burden. At that moment, a man appeared in the doorway of what would have gone through to the kitchen. And I looked at him and he goes, "Oh, so you can see me?" And I said, "Yes, I can see you. Was that you making all that noise?" And he said, "Well, I'm fed up with trying to get someone to see me and someone to hear me. So now you can see me. And if you can see me, what have I got on?" So we'd already ascertained that I could see him, but he wanted me to tell him what he had on. So I described his green cardigan and his brown slacks and his nice polished brown shoes. And he goes, "Well, what's taken you so long to come here?" Now, he was really cranky, and the reason that he threw the pots and pans around, or he made it sound like he'd thrown them around, was that he'd been trying and trying and trying to get his family to hear him, to see him. And he goes, "How come you're a stranger, you can see and hear me, but none of my damn kids can?" And I said, "Because they are aggrieved with your passing, and it makes it very hard for them to be able to see you or hear you." So he said, "Right, this is what I want." And he told me about his will, and he told me that his sons were not honouring his will, and he was really angry about that. So what I'm saying to you here again is to know that your loved ones can see you, and they do try and communicate with you. But when you are so very aggrieved and you're very swallowed up, consumed by loss and sorrow, you can't hear them, and you won't see the signs of them being around either. So coming to a space of love and projecting out that love to them, then you're going to feel them. Then you're going to be able to communicate with them. Now, one thing I want to say to you here too, yeah, they sure do, Ray Louise. One thing I want to say to you here is any time that you want to tune into spirit, a bit like tuning into the universe, anything and anyone will answer. So if you want to hear from your loved ones, then that's who you focus on. You see them in your mind's eye, you speak their name, you refer to them as who they are to you, because you can be tricked. It can be a dark spirit, it can be some other life form that presents itself, a bit like these trolls on here. So, Nicole, that's lovely, thank you. So when you want to hear from your loved ones, make sure that you go into that beautiful heart space that only you can have for them and what they would have for you. And that way you are going to be able to feel them and to be able to hear what's going on with them. Okay. Maggie's got a fabulous question here. How long after their passing can we communicate with them? This is a great question, Maggie. Thank you. Now, there's different layers to passing. If somebody has passed tragically, well, what we see as tragically, but it was their right time to pass, then they will be gone. They will have been swept up and their soul taken, and they go to what I refer to as heaven, and they go through a process. There is actually, as Ray Louise, the spirit world have their own problems too. The spirit world has got different levels. There's, I see heaven as being like a great big Myers or a Hearns or Harrods store. There's all different levels to heaven, right? So the soul will have been swept up to the heavens very rapidly. They don't feel anything, right? What can look like horrendous, they're actually perfectly fine. Now, you would be able to communicate with them within a couple of months, remembering there is no such thing as time. So on the other side, there is no time like we have here. There is, however, their adjustment, the period of adjustment. Now, if, for example, like a young man that I met who suicided, he suicided in Kings Park here in Perth. He didn't leave, so he was still at home because his mum was, as you can appreciate, so heartbroken and full of guilt, all about what she didn't do enough of, how she didn't help him enough. And he came through one of his friends who came to see me. He appeared with his friend, and he said the message he wanted to give was for his mum. Now, he could be communicated with the right medium ever from the time that he took his life, because he didn't go anywhere. Now, there are other souls who don't go anywhere, but they stay here to be a nuisance. And they are pesky spirits, and they'll communicate with you all the time. But if your loved one has been very, very sick, if they've been very, very sick, a long journey of sickness, then they go to what I see as, and what I describe as, hospital in heaven. And it is where they go to be able to be freed, basically, of all the energetic stuff that they would have carried with them up to the initial gateways of heaven. When they are free of that, they are then free to communicate with you. Now, how long's a piece of string? Because some people, some souls can go through that process very quickly and be available to come and go from this world, and be available to come through and speak to you, to come through me very quickly. But others may take months. And then the really hard bit is sometimes they don't want to come back at all. So they don't come back to communicate. If I want to communicate with my grandmother or my dad, I have to really put a call out for them. They don't just come in, because they're off in a different place of life. They're off in a different level of life. So there's lots of elements to that. But I hope you got some insight into that, Maggie, and I hope that was a help. In other words, there is no hard and fast time, right? Oh, Cat Gray, I am so sorry to hear that she decided she didn't want to stay. Are you aware that she had heart problems? Are you aware that that little granddaughter came into this world with what would be called a broken heart? And it was too much for her, and she would not have been able to survive even having heart surgery on the physical heart. Cat Gray, that's your granddaughter. So the reason that she left was because of that. Now the good news is she's coming back. So Cat Gray, you can look forward to her coming back, and this time she will come back with a heart of gold. She will come back with the most incredible heart, the most incredible smile. She is going to be one very, very beautiful. Now everybody that's got grandkids and kids, yes, they're all beautiful, But this little granddaughter that tried to come in first, Cat Grey, she's coming back. And this time they show me that her heart is like solid gold. Her heart is, she's coming back with such a strong, powerful heart, and she is going to be nothing short of divine. So look forward to her, Cat. Look forward to her. She's beautiful. Hello, Sandra. Nice to have you here. Oh, Ray Louise, I love controversial questions. My accountant called me recalcitrant today. I haven't been called that for years. When does a child's soul come into its body, before birth or after? Oh, no, it's not controversial, but I guess you will get different answers on these questions depending on the level of involvement of the person who is answering, right? So the reader, the psychic, whatever they want to call themselves, it'll depend on their level. A bit like I was saying before about how you can only go to where you can go. It's the same with a lot of new breed psychics and mediums and so forth. You can only go to where you're allowed to go, essentially. So when does a child's soul come into its body? Well, it actually goes in and out and in and out from conception. The presence of the soul is eternal. The presence of the soul is therefore able to be present around the mother from conception. Now, as the fetus grows and it develops into around 20 weeks, or around the 5-month mark, and it's starting to look more like a little human, looks a bit different before that, then it actually starts to settle in. So the soul will come in and settle into the body, and it's trying to fit. And this is why mums will talk about getting a lot more activity with their baby, a lot more kicking, a lot more movement, because the soul's in the house. And then they will say, I don't know if baby's all right, I haven't had any movement for ages. Well, it's ducked out for a while. So the soul actually comes in and out all the time. And once it's ready for birth, now, here's a tricky bit. Once its time of birth has arrived, if that soul has been misbehaving and is half out, half in, then they have a lot of difficulty and they will have a troubled birth. If the soul comes in going, yep, all good, I'm ready to arrive, then it's a lovely smooth birth, baby's very calm, baby's very happy. There are other elements to this, I might say. So they get themselves ready because they know when it's their time of arrival. And this is why the world is wrong in mothers having elective caesareans and doctors encouraging them to have elective caesareans. You're interfering in the natural ways of nature. And that soul just might not be ready to be in that body and arrive into this life. Then you get a baby arrive with all sorts of problems, all sorts of inability to sleep, rest, be able to be calmed easily, digestive issues, oh, you name it, allergies, all sorts of things. So I hope that answers your question, Ray Louise. Thanks, Helen, that's great. Glad you're loving it. Feel free to ask questions, people, because that's what I'm here for. Yes, Sandy, I do live Zoom calls and things, and I'm actually looking at running a couple of short programs for people to understand energy and be able to harness their own energy. Yes, Jen, applicable for mental health issues, absolutely. Remember that anything that is experienced in this life is not experienced by the soul part of us. Now, you know, there's a few different versions of what a spirit is and what the soul is. So when I'm talking to you about the soul, I'm referencing the essence of our eternal flame of life, the soul. So anything that the physical body and the mind experiences in this life, it does not get taken by the soul, right? It gets released. We have times where we are impacted upon by genetic stuff, by hand-me-downs, but that is still not part of your soul. These are just things that come along to be part of this earthly experience, right? Yes, if they can't reach you, Wendy Harvey, if your loved ones can't reach you in your waking hours, they will most definitely come and get you in your dream time and take you to the dream plane. So this is something else, everyone. If you have, absolute pleasure, Cat Gray, if you have a dream and you wake up in the morning and you feel really confused and you feel like you can still smell where you were or smell your loved one, or you feel like you can still feel the grass under your feet, or anything that was in your dream, guess what? Wasn't a dream. You were actually with your loved one in the place where they took you on the dream plane. Yes, Andre, that's also a very good topic, reincarnation. Anna Maria, it's really hard, when we get taken up by what we feel other people don't think or other people don't feel. It's none of our business, in a nutshell, none of our business, and there's no point trying to change the way that somebody else thinks about life. I must say, people too, that if you are listening in from my Gwenda Smith page or from my Heal with Gwenda page, I will come across and check your messages because I don't get to see them on this page. So thank you for being over there, though. Right, Louise. Geez, you're really pushing the boundaries tonight, girl. So, abortion. Babies, thank you, Paula. Paula's saying, first time I've listened to you and I love this, so much honesty, and love the experiences of how you've helped spirit and loved ones left behind. So blessed to have found your live stream. Thank you, Paula. Thank you for being here, and you would be here for a reason. Spirit always know where to bring people to. It is, isn't it, Nicole? So Ray Louise is asking about abortion. Now, in a nutshell, you can't have an abortion. It won't work unless there is an agreement from the soul of the baby. So if you have had an abortion, don't carry awful things about that. Don't carry guilt. Don't carry loss and awful dark things. You would not have been able to do it if there was not an agreement between the soul of the child, your soul, and also God. Okay. That's nice, Jen. I'm glad it's comforting. So, everyone, we're coming to the end of our show this week. Thank you very much for your engagement, your interaction, your love. I send it all back again. It's so lovely to sit with you, and please do come across and join the Heal with Gwenda community or the Gwenda Smith community. I didn't put that link in here though. And it is really important that you have a greater awareness of you. You have a greater awareness of the impact that your choices and your way of working with your emotions affect your life, and how you are able to connect with your soul and with that of loved ones who have left this life, and even loved ones who might be a long way away from you. You can still connect with them. There is the most beautiful way to be able to communicate telepathically, energetically, no matter where someone is. So when you are more aligned with yourself and to your heart, then all these questions you have around being able to feel your loved ones, being able to be with them, can be answered, and you'll find yourself being able to enjoy being with them. Explosive. What was the word that someone said? Oh, radiant. We'll go with explosive radiant. Bye, Kerry Ann. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Wendy Harvey. Beautiful. And you had 2 doses of me today, Helen. It's wonderful. So thank you all very, very much. I love being here with you, and I love to be of service for you. If you would like a reading, if you would like healing, if you would like to expand your consciousness, then reach out to me. I'll send you my booking link and we will organise it, right? And I work with people who are ready to really step up into their beauty. And remember, you are the most exquisite and expensive piece of real estate you will ever own. Good night, everyone.